Bernadette Laxamana is a loving wife, mother, teacher, speaker, best-selling author, and the president and CEO of Carista Mortgage. She is the 2017 and 2021 winner of the CMA Mortgage Broker of the Year award across Canada. She is the proud recipient of numerous awards, including Woman of Influence, Top Producer, and Mentor of the Year. She graduated cum laude, an academic honor, has an MBA, Master's in Business Administration, and is a certified coach in neuro-linguistic programming. Bernadette is a passionate expert with over 19 years of experience in the real estate industry, and her purpose is to create a positive, lasting difference in the lives of everyone she works with. And one thing, just again to add, Carissa Mortgage is the one who will be giving us the money that will be the prize of the leadership quest. So it really is because of her that we have this chance to give this money to you. So again, thank you so much for that. And with that being said, please welcome Bernadette Laxamana. So whenever you're ready, you can start speaking.
Thank you so much. Could you guys hear me well? Okay, good. So may I please have the ability to share my screen? Okay, so here we are. Could you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah? Can you see my Okay, so hi everyone. I am very excited to be here with you today. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the Y4Y Youth for You Mentorship Society for what you've created today. As somebody who's facilitated numerous events, there's a lot of time, energy, money, and heart involved in an event like this. Thank you for your dedication and devotion to the youth of today and your investment in their future. I'm honored to be invited to be about my presentation. My intention is to have fun while learning how your mind works, because your mind is the powerhouse of your present and the creation of your successful future. And then, since I work in the world of money and loans, I will share some fun money do's and don'ts to set you lovely girls and boys for a good financial foundation. And after that, we will close with some fun facts or tips from a teenpreneur. We will also have some fun exercises as well, so you can apply what you're learning today. I will be sharing over 20 years of wisdom with you all. So my recommendation is this: take notes. And then every time I say something you would like to execute or implement, right away, highlight it or put a star or a smiley face. The magic in what you're learning today is in the execution. Learning is great, but you really didn't learn anything unless and until you've taken action and practice what you've experienced here today. So here we go. I am an NLP coach. What's NLP? NLP means neuro-linguistic programming. A lot of politicians study this because it simply means how we use the language of the mind to consistently achieve our specific and desired outcomes or goals. NLP is really the study of what happens when you're given a supercomputer, but not given the manual on how to use it. It's like having a 480 horsepower Tesla Model Y and only drive it around the block at 20 kilometers per hour. What a waste. And you don't maximize its full potential. The same thing with your mind. If you don't use it properly, you will not reach your full potential. Well, we don't want that for you. Your brain is a supercomputer and it's more powerful than a Tesla. So let's understand how it works, okay? Things happen in your mind. So in life, something happens outside of you. We call it as an external event, okay? You experience an external event. And then what your brain does or your mind does, it filters that. So It filters the stimuli that's coming in. It uses, what does it use to filter? Time, space, matter, energy, language, memories, decisions, programs that you have, values and beliefs and attitudes, okay? And then it meaning, okay? You assign a meaning to it. It's called an internal representation. Internal representation, so the experience, we experience life visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, olfactorily, and gustatorically. So I will explain all that in a minute. The words we use to label that experience is called auditory digital. So essentially, reality is subjective because our individual filters are different. Our reality or interpretation of what we see and then taste gustatorically are subjective. Hence, something that may be good for one is not good for somebody else. Something that's fun for one may be boring for somebody else. So let's break this down even further. I'm getting really deep into science, kids, so and adults. So an event happens in life. So maybe a school or family event, or an action by someone, or somebody says something to you. Okay, so that's an event, right? So these things happens, it is either visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. There's 11 million bits of data that comes at you every single minute, all right? So what your mind does, it deletes, distorts, generalize all of that information. So basically what it does, it chunks all that information, because if it doesn't, you will go crazy. There's too much information. So it chunks that in, it summarizes it, and then it assigns a label. Hopefully you can hear me. It assigns a label to it. All right, that's called internal representation. And then from that, after it labels it, you will have an emotional state, a happy state, a sad state, a motivated state, an angry state. And then it's coupled with physiology or your body. And then what happens is you produce a behavior. Okay, so that behavior then creates the result in your life. So for example, a school event or a family event like this, you could create something fun or success out of it. If somebody takes an action that you appreciate, you label it something good, you may decide to collaborate with that person. If somebody said something bad and you label it bad, then the action you produce is defensiveness. So again, we go back to this. What happens is, this simply means that what you hold in your mind, or the meaning or label you give the event or experience, impacts your emotional state, which impacts your action and behavior, which impacts your success or failure. Therefore, you have to be really, really be careful with what you hold in your mind. If you focus on negative labels, you get negative emotions and negative behavior and negative results. So basically, the results you get to a large extent are based on the language that you use. Are you focused on 100% of what you want, or are you focused on what you don't want? Remember, what you focus on grows in your reality. So what happens when I say this, kids, or boys and girls, I should say kids, boys and girls, what happens if I say, don't think of on a stick? Don't think about how it tastes, how soft it is, and how sticky. What happens? What are you thinking of? Pink cotton candy. You can't think about what you don't want to think about without thinking about it first. Think about that. In life, though, what happens? We say, I hope I don't slip and fall. I hope I don't fail in the test. I hope I don't get fat. Yeah, body image is a big one. I hope I won't be late. I don't want to fail. I don't want to make a mistake. So when you start thinking about, I hope I don't slip and fall, what are you thinking about? Slipping and falling. I don't want to fail the test. What are you thinking about? Failing the test. I hope I don't get fat. What are you thinking about getting fat? I don't want to make a mistake. You're focusing on making a mistake. So now your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to monitor the language or the labels in your mind and the words that come out of your mouth. Instead of slipping, think walk safely. Instead of not fail the test, think pass with flying colors. Instead of getting fat, think health and well-being. What works even better is if you can imagine the body that you want and you put your face on it. Replace fail with achievement and replace mistake with, oh, what are you learning? According to Earl Nightingale, you become what you think about. So be very, very careful about that. Let's explore how the thought monster is formed. I say thought monster because sometimes you think of something and it becomes so big and you can't control it. For example, you see something on social media, it's big, right? And then you start comparing yourself to them. You then label yourself as not good compared to that person. You have that first thought. And then from that, you start seeing other so-called proof of how not good you are compared to them. And then you keep piling on that and then even share that thought with your friends and compounding it all. Next thing you know, you're not being good, or you or that person being better is your present, and then you carry that towards your future. Your brain is wired to focus on the negative. By nature, it is. We have 60,000 thoughts per day, and apparently over 80% is negative. Based on what we learned earlier, thoughts or labels or meanings precede emotions or feelings. If you're feeling anxious, fearful, angry, sad, resentful, guilty, ashamed, most likely you had a preceding negative thought or label. Hence, it's important you are careful with what you let in your mind. Ideally, minimize social media, TV, and news time. I own multiple companies. I don't watch the news. Why? Mahatma Gandhi said, I will not let anyone walk through feet. There's a lot of NLP programming that goes on in TV, social media. So be very, very careful with what you let in your mind. Okay? So negative thinking versus opposition thinking. What is a better way is you need a lot of happy thoughts. Negative thinking, let there be a reflection to the contrary. The moment you think of something that causes a negative state, replace it with lots of positive pictures, sounds, memories. And sometimes even being just curious is better than thinking of the negative or worst scenario. There you go. And then remember, say it the way you want it. Pause before you speak about what you're going to say. Is it about what you want? Or is it about something that you don't want? Is it about something that you're for? Or is something about you want it? Now we're going to do an exercise. I want you all to get pen and paper. Okay? And don't worry, you don't have to share this with anyone. This is for you. I want you to think of two people, okay? First, think of someone you really, really, really like or admire. It could be a person, living, dead, character in a movie like Wonder Woman or Tony Stark. And then you write down 3 or 5, up to 5 things if you're feeling adventurous that you like about him or her. Think about the qualities you like about him or her. I will give you 30 seconds, so you better write fast. It's better to let your unconscious mind, your automatic mind to write it because it's coming from the heart. So write all the things that you like about him or her. 3 to 5 if you're feeling adventurous. And there is no wrong or right answer. This is your opinion. It's safe. So write it down, and you're not going to show it to anyone. So it's okay. Time's up. All right. Okay. So you wrote it. Good. Fun. You dislike. Someone you don't like. Again, it could be a person, living, dead, or it can even be a character in a movie about him or her. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Okay, so now that you have that, look at the qualities that you wrote about the person that you like, okay? Your brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes everything you experience or witness in life. So your brain filters through stuff, right? There's 11 million bits of data and it chunks it up. It decides to discard things and hold on to things subjectively. Well, the good news is the qualities you admire in a person that you like is you. Everyone is your mirror. So all the qualities that you like in someone, you have it. You're like, what? Beautiful, successful, humble, kind, generous, confident. Yes, all of that is you. The expression it takes, do you know the expression it takes one to know one, or great minds think alike? Well, that is what perception is, projection. That's what it means. So everyone is a mirror. So you give yourself a pat on the back for the qualities you recognize in others that mirror yours. Yay, that's me. Awesome, Bernadette. That's awesome. Okay, we can all go home now. You all feel good. Bye-bye. Take the money. But wait, the shadow part is look at the list of the qualities you dislike. Well, that's you too. There's no way, Bernadette. There's no way that is me. That is pure, ugly, evil, whatever. According to Carl Jung, what we tend to do is we tend to marry our unconscious mind and then project out onto her all of our unresolved stuff. The information that is most unconscious in us, we by need must project it out onto people or events around us. So the fact is we really can't see anything other than who we are. Sorry if my connection is unstable. I am in a resort. I cannot control my environment here. So all these things that you dislike, and I'm saying, Bernadette, you're terrible. How dare you say that about me? Does that mean you start a denial and that if you start labeling somebody negatively, understand that there's a part in your life that you could potentially, or you're acting that way and you are labeling yourself negatively about it. It's a potential that you have, or you are acting it and you're not seeing it. For example, let's take arrogance or showing off. That's universal. We don't like someone who's arrogant in a show off. A label or a meaning that you gave to somebody's action as that, somebody else could call that celebrating one's achievement, or somebody's just being sharing. Somebody's just sharing about their achievement, or somebody's just being inspirational. Or maybe you have yourself a pat on the back. You would rather beat yourself down versus celebrate your wins. So you see, it's all in the meaning that you put on something. Now, your invitation is this. If you start disliking or thinking badly of someone, check in with yourself. What's going on? What is it about you that you need to acknowledge or accept and learn from? Focus on what you want for you. And the see in you and in life. It is never about you when someone insults you. It's simply what they're seeing. It's an opinion. It's not the truth. So do your best to let it go and not take it personally. We're going to talk about now 3 tips to financial fun and success. Okay, so what are the tips? First, pay yourself first. Second, be debt free. And third, keep increasing your net worth. It's important for the young people here of today to be financially literate. So what do I mean? Once you start earning money, whatever it is, newspaper run or your parents give you allowance or whatever you get or make, set aside 10% or more. Save that, okay? And you savings account, and some of you are grade 12s, you may want to start working on having a credit card, a maximum 2 credit cards. I had my bank account at grade 6. Yes, I started at grade 6. I went to the bank and opened my bank account. Avoid these top adult mistakes: having too many accounts, having too many credit cards, or no credit cards, because that's even harder when you want to be able to buy a home someday. Next, be debt free. An average credit card carries an interest of 20%. It will take you 30 to 40 years to fully pay that off. And a lot of adults get into trouble with credit cards thinking it's extra money when it is really just to get points. It's not extra money. It's a temporary solution. Avoid these top mistakes: keeping credit card balances, using credit card as extra cash, and not paying balance in full every month. Keep increasing your net worth. So in adult terms, net worth is, for you young ones, it's savings minus loans. If you don't have loans, it's simply the savings that you have. Okay, so what you want is to keep increasing that. Avoid these top adult mistakes: not knowing your net worth, not growing it, and putting money on stuff that don't increase in value. Those labels, labels, the stuff that you buy, consumer stuff, purses with wonderful names, they don't appreciate in value. So make sure you invest in a lot of things that appreciate in value. You guys know this guy, right? You know him, hopefully. Steve Jobs. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, he said. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't done a relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking. This is my favorite part. This is Five Wushi Roll or Sushi Roll. She is a teenpreneur. She became an entrepreneur at age 18. So he says here, hello, my name is Sushi. I'm a freelance digital artist who loves to draw dragons. I've been in the digital world for 7 years every day. Okay, so you don't see her face, you just see her image. So she finished from Vancouver Film School, took a 1-year course, and all the instructors told is your life. You're going to send a resume to all the animation studios and they will reject you, or eventually somebody will hire you and they will pay you peanuts, and they will treat you like your slave and make you do crazy stuff that you don't like. But that is the life of a startup, like starting up as an artist in this field. And they said all of that to her. You know what she said? That doesn't sound fun. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. So she decided to be a freelancer. And so she tried to sell, so she learned on her own and she sold her art. Her first order was $40. Okay, so she got $40. Some people would have said, oh my God, I made only $40. That's terrible. That's nothing. I cannot create a living with $40. How did she approach it? She said, oh my God, I can't believe somebody's going to pay me $40 to draw something I like. She's been drawing dragons since she was 3 years old. Somebody's going to pay me $40 and possibly make more. So here we go. Fast forward now. See this dragon? Guess how much she made from this dragon? From $40, guess how much? I can't see the chat box. Sorry. 700 US dollars. She charged 700 US, not Canadian. And this dragon, she sold it for 800 US dollars. Took her 4 hours to make it. This girl, she's now 20 and she has a lot of money. Making good money. So she opens up commission. She takes 10, charges people. She's raised her prices, and she has some tips for you guys. When I told her that I'm speaking today, I asked her what way ancient, and so she has these tips, money tips. Do not spend if you can't buy it in cash. Save, save, save. This girl would rather see her money grow than make it shrink. So you can get those big purchases once in a while. Oh, and pay off your bills. Never owe money past the due date. And these are life tips from Sushi Roll. Nobody knows everything, especially adults. Life is very short if you're living somebody else's life. Better not stress about what you should and shouldn't do. Do it for fun. Do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it for the money. Be consistent. Even if it's a slow start, don't get discouraged. Well, if you're having fun and doing what you love, it's easier for you. It's easier for you to stay consistent. Quite a bit. People will lowball you, deny their voice. Know that the time you spent is worth more. When you learn to say no, you attract the right people. And that, my friends, is the end of my presentation. There you go. My question now for everybody, because I ended that presentation, is this. I want you, this is your portion now, to type what is the biggest value, what is your favorite part from my presentation. Type it in the chat box. And you know why this is important? Because whatever you're going to share here, the rest of your peers are going to learn from you. So, could you please share the biggest value you got from today, or what did you like? What did you learn that you like the most? Or what's one action that you would take to move your learning or what you're going to practice? The mind is powerful. What you think is your reality. Awesome. So true. Very, very powerful. Everything starts in your mind. Thanks, Melissa. I love how you added the sushi example at the end, because she's more like, yes, definitely. I figured I could probably be talking too much Greek with the mind stuff. So thanks, Ryan. Realizing the qualities you like, dislike about people. I know. Yes, Jill. That was fascinating. I really like the whole science part of how the brain works in regards. Yes, for sure. Must love science, Courtney. Yeah. Any other learnings? Financial literacy is, yes, is an important skill to have for sure. A lot of the stuff that I shared with you guys, people don't hear those until they're like much older. In regards of negative thoughts and how much that takes up your brain capacity, yes, for sure. It does, it does, it does. It's very shocking. Okay, I think that concludes that. I give it to the organizers now. Thank you, everyone, for having me.
Thank you so much, Bernadette. That was a really, really good presentation. That whole, I learned honestly so much from that. Especially thinking about all the way that the negative thoughts and impact like the way you think and how much, like you said, 80% of your thoughts every day are negative, and that is, I never really thought of it that way. And that's honestly something that's really like surprising to me, because usually I hope that I'm thinking more positive, but it's that's that's so honestly that broke my brain a little bit. And when we did the exercise of seeing how the negative and positive traits that you like about other people, they're reflections of yourself, it's something that I never really thought of, and again broke my brain. That was so interesting to me. So thank you so much for that amazing presentation. That was really, really good. Thank you.
Thanks,
So
Courtney. I'm
of
glad you
course,
found value there.
yeah, there is so much value in that. So thank you so much.